Hello, this video is part of my This Will Blow Your Socks Off 2 book. So today we're going to look at Bigfoot Feet. I bought this one on eBay, I think it was, about a year ago. Now the guy selling it did say it was supposed to be a cast of Paddy's foot, but no documentation came with it. But I would basically say, looking at this, and there's certain features on this that make it look like a genuine Bigfoot foot, but I don't know if it is. I have no evidence to prove that it is, but it's about the size of a Bigfoot foot. I measured this one to be 13.5 inches. Now, what you'll notice is that there's a huge gap between these toes. You know, the toes really sort of curl out. This is very common in Bigfoot feet. If a human being has large feet and does a cast like this, then these toes will all be upright, you know, because you've worn shoes all your life. So that's one of the big differences. Another one is we tend to have quite an instep here. So our overall feet are a lot narrower. This is a heck of a surface area, and it's one of the things I want to mention about when people say, oh, the falsely made people put wooden blocks on the floor and then sort of stood in them. You can do that. You really can. You can make a foot that will look like a Bigfoot foot, and you can stand on it, but it won't look like a Bigfoot imprint. Why? Okay. Force times area. So if we have 10 square inches, and if we apply force to it, those inches are going to shrink down into the mud or the sand or whatever it is that you're standing on. Now, if you make it twice as big at 20 square inches, that's just increasing the number of squares double, not increasing one of the sides double, because that will, or both sides double, because that will give you a square number, which will be even more difficult. Then the imprint you're going to get with the same weight applied will be half. So if a human being stands on a footprint this size, you know, if you make I could go and make a wooden print like this and go and stand on it, and it would make an imprint, but it'd be a very shallow one. So the big difference is whether you're standing in snow, sand, mud, or whatever. If it's an animal that weighs 1,000 pounds, 500 kilos for ballpark numbers, then it will not make it. Then it will not make an imprint as deep as that. If you or I stand on a piece of wood, you know, our imprint will be as thick as this little bit here. There's this little edge piece. You know, that's just where someone's made the casting, and you know they put too much stuff in, but that's absolutely fine. So one of the things is the size of the footprint. The next thing is the stride. Now, when you or I take a stride, it doesn't really matter upon your height to a certain extent. It's the dimension of your leg length. Your leg length determines your stride, and your total stride is about equal to your leg length. So I'm 32-inch inside leg, and if I walk normally down a road, I'll produce a 32-inch stride. But when you find these footprints, they have a 50-inch stride. That's obviously not 50 inches, I'm just holding my fingers apart, right? So how big is 50 inches? How big are these paces? Well, I'm going to give you a demonstration. Now, in the UK and Europe, we use paper of a size called A4, you know, standard printing, standard writing, all sorts of things. And I know in America and Canada, I lived in Canada for a bit, you know, you have like a legal pad, I can't remember, is it 11B9 or whatever. They're roughly the same, So you can do what we're about to do with 4 sheets of paper. So 4 sheets of A4, 4 sheets off a legal pad, 4 sheets out your printer. Okay, right. So you're going to need 2 sheets. One of these sheets isn't long enough to make a Bigfoot foot, all right? This one's actually quite a short foot, it's only 13 inches. So as you can see, the paper's a bit on the short side. So to make it longer, the best process I've worked out is to fold it into thirds and to squash it down. Now, this doesn't have to be exact. You know, of the different types of Bigfoot, there's different types. You didn't, okay, right. If you watch the Paddy video, the Patterson-Gimlin film, you'll see Patty, as she's been nicknamed, because they don't actually know her name. And she was a female, so she's quite short, which is probably why this is only a 13.5-inch print. So she was about 8 to 8.5 feet tall, which is, yeah, somewhere up there. So she produces these 13.5 inch footprints. Her fella, the males, they'll probably have 14.5, 15-inch footprints. And it's about 14.5, 15 we're going to make today. I was reading a story last night where they came across this couple. They're rock knocking. They're going down this river looking for fossils and interesting rocks and things. Awesome fun. And all of a sudden, this thing was just stood in the river behind them. Now, this is a 12-foot tall one. These tend to have, whereas the paddy type ones tend to have flat faces like us, bit of a nose, they have a lot of fur on, a bit more fur than I have these days, and a thick fur all over. They have quite squat necks, but because they have long fur as well, it seems to sort of hide the necks, so they seem to be like a necklace. These couple saw, the female was slightly smaller, the male was about 12 foot tall, so he would have been like 19, 20-inch footprints. With an equivalent extended stride. But he seemed to have, I don't want to call them fangs, they're just sort of extended eye teeth, gripping type teeth on these absolutely massive heads that they've got, and a bit of a snout sticking out. There is a thing called Dogman. I've come across some really interesting stories of that recently. It's not something I've researched, it's not anything that's in the book. I'll put a link to the book in the description later on. Now they have big, full-on snouts. There was a guy in the woods saw this huge wolf, American shooting. Okay, but that's fine. So he took a shot at it. He missed it, hit the tree above it, and this thing stood up and up and up, and it was over 6.5 feet tall. And then it walked off. Just kept his eye on the man as he walked off. Wolf stood up on 2 feet. Anyway, so right, back to this. So I folded this into thirds, and then basically all you do is, I've not quite got that right, so what you do is you just sort of stick one end of the paper in, try not to have too much overlap, so you just tucked inside, and that will come out to be about 14.5 inches. So here's one I made earlier. In fact, here's two I made earlier. I'll tell you why there's two in a second. So I've just got a bit of staple, a bit of sellotape on this, just hold it together. Right, so make two of these. Watch this video, come back to it and watch it again later, and I'll walk you through this slowly. Right, find an open space in your lounge or the hallway. Do this safe, it's on, Right, put this edge against the wall or level with the end of the table or something. Lay it on the ground flat. Get your second one and start your second one where this one finishes. Where the second one finishes, bring in the third, take the first and move it to the position in front of this one, like a third, and then as you go in front of that one, take the one behind it and put it in front. Right, leave this one where it is and take this one you've just had behind it and put it back against the wall. And what you'll end up with is the back of this one to the back of that one is about 45 inches. Didn't work that out. I'll put it in the, didn't work out what it is in metric. I shall put that in the description later. But all right, put that on the floor. Now you're going to stand against the wall, put your heel against the wall, and you take a pace. And you see how far you get with a normal pace. You can stretch your pace, you can try and do whatever. You might get the pace once. I doubt you'll be able to do a second pace to get to where the second one, to get where the next one would be. And you definitely not do it 3 times. I mean, you can go down to a beach or you go out in the snow or whatever, do this sort of thing. Take a piece of wood, big piece of wood, put it in the snow, move forward 45 inches from the back of that to the back of the next one, and put your piece of wood down again. Don't cross a line in the snow or the sand or whatever. Keep the side nice and clean and just put these things down. That's what people find. If you search for the, I'm sorry, I keep looking at my phone rather than actually looking at the camera. If you search for the London tracks, they were in, I don't know if it was a tide that went out or if it was a lake that had a bit been drained a bit or was dry, whatever it was. But this was like really soft mud, and they found these tracks. I don't know what there's like 50 tracks or something, but they're these huge steps. That's a human pace, and that's the Bigfoot pace. Human, Bigfoot. It's not that one. It's that one. Anyway, you know what I mean. But anyway, go and have a go. Find yourself some Bigfoot tracks. Be careful out in the woods because these things can be dangerous. Make yourself some paper ones. Spread them out. Walk across your room. See how big these things are. These things are real. Absolutely real. You enjoy and check out the rest of my book. Bye bye.